welcome to the Arsenal Fan Circle. I am DWTT Gary. To most of my friends, as you know, to my left is Ray. Ray usually hosts, but he's still, we're letting him get an extra day of rest before he gets out there. So, Ray, how are you doing?
Recovering. If you don't know, I've had COVID the last few days, and Thursday night Stan took over. But listen, it's always good to have someone else at the controls, and who knows? We might even go so far off the rails that we'll let this guy do Thursday night. Who knows?
All right, and
Let me know
as
if
he
you
said,
thumbs up to it in the comments section.
yeah, and last but not least, and definitely least, is is Tony. Honey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Cool.
I'm here anyway.
Nice. So, see, Riddy has joined us. Riddy, welcome to the show. Should have some more people joining us. I know it's probably a happy day for a lot of Arsenal fans. Happy day for me because one, guess what I got? Ooh, yes. I put a donation in Gooners versus Cancer and it came back. So there you go. So I got a nice jersey here to go. Let's get this thing started. Noe, is that right? Has joined us as well.
Yes.
Welcome. And so where are we? So I guess we'll talk about it, right? Arsenal started the season, top of the table. Started the second week of the season, top of the table. Started the third week of the season, top of the table. Guess what? We'll be starting week 4 of the season, top of the table. Very nice indeed. Arsenal comes out and blows away. Who do we play again? Bournemouth, right? Yeah, on the road. In the first 12 minutes, take a 2-goal lead, and we hold on. Very good from Arsenal. And we'll get into that. I guess we'll go with the initial thoughts on that game, right? So, Tony, I guess we'll go Tony, and then we'll give Ray a little chance to rest. What are your thoughts on that on the game?
It's kind of like last week. Great first 45 minutes again. Second half took the foot off the gas a little bit. First half we had 72% possession at one point, or 73 actually. But overall, happy with 3 points. 3 points we should have had. It's a game we probably should have won 6-0 instead of 3-0, but I'm just waiting for those to get there. I miss those 7-8 goal games from us.
Yeah, I hear you.
We got the strike force to do it. We just have to put in the effort to get it. Other than that, 3 points and we move on.
Yep. If you think we got 6 goals in us and we're getting 3 and we're shutting out, the other team clean sheet, we'll take that to start the season. We're only hopefully going to get better from there, all right? So, Ray, how are you feeling after that game?
Feeling good, Gary. Tony, thanks for joining me. Actually, we're joining Gary. Gary's hosting today, so thank you very much, Gary, for doing that. Listen, I was thinking about this today. We have to think about if Manchester City or Liverpool go to a ground like Bournemouth, what can they do? Can they get a win? And we have to be thinking now in those terms. If we want to be thinking in those terms, we can't be thinking about Chelsea or Tottenham or Man United. We got to be looking up to a Liverpool and a Manchester City. We've seen quality from Manchester City today, and we know Liverpool have that in them as well, in their DNA. So, like Tony said, I thought we dropped off a little bit at 2-0. But the intensity of the game was such, we pressed so hard. As Tony said, 70, 75, 72% possession in the first half. It was inevitable it was going to drop off, but we had a few more goals in us. One was chalked off for offside with Gabriel Jesus, who definitely deserved the goal yesterday. Yeah. These are the teams that we need to be putting away, and we're doing what we need to do, Gary.
No, definitely. Yeah, and it kind of was a tale of two halves, but in both halves, we won both of them. So if you look at it as the whole, we won both halves. They didn't score. Teams will come back. This is the Premier League we saw today, right? City on the road, right? New in a tough stadium.
Yeah,
they had to come back and get a point there. They probably could have won it if VAR helped them out, but we'll see, how that pans out for the rest of the season. Yeah, I was expecting. I don't. The second half. The only issue I would have with the second half is that we didn't score more, and we didn't score after that first 12 minutes. Um, but we didn't give up a goal, so we're gonna take that, right? So I'm taking that all day. Clean sheet. We're taking that. Um, it's hard to be too disappointed with that game, right? Three, especially the third game of the season. I guess if we're talking about you know being top four at the end of the season, we're going to have to be consistent and win every time. Big Gunner, welcome to the show. Welcome, as everybody. Steve Denham is joining us. Welcome, Steve. I'll say hello. Try to say hello to everybody as they join us. But yeah, no, it's hard to find really bad things to say about the game. There are things we're going to need to improve on. Arteta even says it, so I don't think we should feel bad saying that there's still things to do, because even Arteta was happy with the game, but still wants more out of his squad, which is a good thing. I like to hear that, because we're going to need to continue to do that, because there are going to be games where we don't get the result we want, and he might actually say we played as best as we could just on the day we lose. So. Got Mr. Tom is joining us. Mr. Tom, welcome to the show. And we're going to see how many people are joining us today. I know there's multiple shows going on right now. Probably a lot of talk about that City game. So we'll get into that. But I guess let's talking about the game. Let's start off. Let's go with I guess we're trying to go in segments here. We'll go with that first 30 minutes of the game, where probably, like you said, Tony, the first half of that really was all Arsenal. And after that, it kind of dipped a bit. But once again, Arsenal comes out looking strong. And tell me, Tony, about those first 30 minutes.
And we came out of the gate strong. Good attacking football. Good goals. I don't remember exactly what we scored.
Yeah, so the first goal was Martin Odegaard, right? Scoring.
Yep, and second one Odegaard, both for
good
shots. Seems like he.
But you know what?
The first one, well, I guess let's go through that. Yeah, that first one, right? I believe it was a Martinelli. Was it Martinelli's shot?
Yeah.
Right. That came off the goalkeeper right to him, and he slots it back home pretty quickly, right? And then the second goal, of course, was Saka to White. White, puts a cross in. Jesus' touch is a little too heavy, but right there to jump on it is Odegaard, who just basically puts his foot through it, like I've been asking for.
Yeah.
And I think we've all been asking for. I mean, he put so much power into that. He spun himself around. Goalkeeper had no chance, and he scores 2 in the first 12 minutes. All right, coming into the game, Odegaard was somebody we wanted to see score. So, Tony, I think you wanted to say some more, but I kind of was going to go over the goals because you were trying to remember how we did that.
Yeah, I was just trying to remember when he scored, but it's what we wanted from Odegaard. Started off the season slow. Same with Saka. Saka's still not into it yet, but Odegaard did better. Really didn't do as much in possession with the ball, but he did good in front of the goal. When he got his chances, he took it, buried them. Later on, really nothing much else in that first half, really. We kind of got ahead, kind of put on the brakes a little bit.
All right. And Ray, how do you think about those first 30 minutes? I guess I see. Oh, Hendon Gunnar is just joining us. Welcome, Hendon Gunnar. Sorry about that, Ray. Go ahead.
All right, good one. Hendon Gunnar, welcome. Listen, I thought it was a terrible ball from Ben White in the 4th minute, up in the air. I was like, what is Ben White doing there? He's basically just clearing it. We're supposed to be better than this. It's Bournemouth. But we've seen the difference between Lacazette and now Gabriel Jesus in our lineup. He gives us so much more. Lacazette would have probably lost that duel. As Arteta says, I hated when I lose a duel. Well, Gabriel Jesus took that ball down, was physically strong enough, and now we've seen in 3 games the chance he created for Odegaard against Crystal Palace. He created that out of nothing. We wanted Odegaard to take that shot against Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. The second game against Leicester City, he rolls Evans to fashion a chance for himself as well. So Gabriel Jesus' physicality is starting to make things happen at the that end of the pitch for us. So takes the ball down, rolls the defender, beats two players, feeds Martinelli. There's something going on with Bukayo Saka. He's not getting involved in the play, but the stats from Orbinho said 40% of the plays going down the right hand side. It's just that the finishes on our plays are coming from the left hand side, as we see with the Saliba goal, right? But Gabriel Jesus feeds Martinelli, the shot to the goalkeeper, and Odegaard's right there following in. It's almost as if from the All or Nothing documentary, Gary, that Odegaard's been taken aside by one of the coaches and asked to get on the end of things and take shots.
No, definitely, and we know he can. He has a good foot on him, right? Because he takes our free kicks and he's been pretty good on scoring with them. So you would assume anywhere on the pitch where you're taking shots from a good distance, he can do that. So it shouldn't matter where he is. And yeah, he looked really good yesterday. Yesterday, and yeah, no, I will. Like you said, the one thing we have that left side looks really strong, and that's where all our goals are coming from. Once again, I kind of feel like, what? That's going to be our strong side until somebody stops us. All right. And Saka's been, from some cases, I've seen him, being a little cautious and maybe playing a little bit more defensively, setting up defensively, getting ready for any kind of counter. So I think that's been kind of the way he's been playing a little bit. And he still, once again, for me, won't take his man on and put as much pressure as Martinelli does, and then open things up for himself. So we'll see maybe he's, yep. And then Gunnar, welcome to the show. As I said, anybody else has joined us recently? I think you might be the last one right now. Yeah. No, so we'll see. I mean, I think Saka isn't, causing us any issues at this point. Maybe he just needs to get his legs underneath him or his mindset right. But we'll take what we're getting right now from the entire 11. Right. So we take the 2-goal lead, and the fear is, at least for me anyways, is how do we respond? Because it would be nice to get, we've got another almost 40 minutes now, 30 minutes now, almost 40 minutes probably with extra time to get at least another goal, right? We can do that the way we've been playing. But nope, we've seen to see that hit that lull again. And for the next 30 minutes, most of the next 30 minutes, and we'll get into that and let Ray start that one off. We look like nothing's going to happen. Go into the end of the half, come out second half, still not as much. But we do score in that next 30 minutes, right? A late goal there from Saliba. I think ball comes down the right-hand side. Cross comes in. Jacques is on the end of it. Lays it off for Saliba, who puts his left foot through it, and goalkeeper has no chance. Once again, another nice shot from distance. Really good there. So, Ray, tell me about the next 30 minutes.
So what we want to see from Arsenal is this almost trying to play like Manchester City, keeping possession. So I got to be honest, and maybe this is the way we want Arsenal to be. We want to be a little bit more boring, right? We want to be that team that controls possession, don't have much issues at the back, but then we have long spells of possession on the ball. And I thought we held the ball really well without actually being that threatening. And when Saka did engineer that free kick and Martinelli crossed the ball in, Granit Xhaka, I actually was woken up a little bit by that Saliba goal, because the second half we started off a little bit slow, but what a strike. What a beautiful strike. I actually thought the commentator and me waking up a little bit to it, I thought Granit Xhaka had taken a strike. And when I see a centre half, a central defender in that position, 16 yards out, and just perfect technique, lifting it into the top corner, top bin. What a goal from a central defender, no less. And listen, it's been great for the kid. He's played really well. This is only his third competitive game for Arsenal, and many have said and debated if we'd done the right thing by Saliba, and that debate can continue. I don't think we'll agree 100% on that, but we're seeing the benefits now of what we have done with William Saliba, sending him out on loan.
Definitely, yeah. And if we, like you said, many are gonna, decide for themselves whether or not the loan worked. So far, it looks good, but now we have the fear of, will he resign? Right? We always have another fear going in there. So
We
that's the
go from
next.
one thing to another,
Yeah.
Gary.
So we will never. It'll never be a nice quiet day for Arsenal. There's always something else popping up. And so on the list here, you see Arsenal Misfit has joined us. Welcome. Russ is in the house. Welcome to the show. And as we continue on, and I saw a comment there, I think it was from Hendon Gunnar talking about our next set of games, and we'll get into that as well, because that's a good topic to bring up as well. Because as we see this, look at the rest of this month and the next one, we basically have a lot of games in our favor that we should be able to get points from.
Yeah.
Hopefully win.
But
We'll talk about that. Yeah. So Tony, the next 30 minutes, it does end with a goal, so can't say too much bad about it. But go ahead, tell me what you're thinking after, with about 30 minutes in the middle of this game, kind of how you were thinking, feeling.
Yeah, we kind of came out of a half flat, letting them have more possession. They ended up having 42% possession in the game, so they had about what we had in the first half of possession, around 70%, which is way too much. We want more of that ball control and it being boring, like Ray said, but we really didn't have the ball much in the second half. Needed it more. Instead, we just kind of what we do under Arteta, which I don't like, is just sit back and absorb that pressure. We have the center backs we do now. Still don't trust the team to sit there and just keep teams out. Did that. Saliba got a great goal. That's pretty much it there.
Yeah,
all right.
but in that middle section of the game, I can say I didn't feel that threatened from them like most of the game.
No.
But like you said, they did get a lot of possession of the ball, and it did kind of turn after. What's that?
What they did, I think, is they went from three at the back to a flat back four and brought another player into midfield or further forward, presented us with a little bit more. They tried, you know what I mean? I think this is a team that's going to be relegation threatened for most of the season. So we did what we needed to do. We went to their ground and we got a 3-0 win. Listen, we could have got a few more goals. We could have been better. But it's always good for the manager as well to go back to the training pitch and say, listen, these are the areas we can do better in as well.
Yeah. And the one thing that
the players listen.
Yeah, the one thing I know
for nothing, they don't seem to listen.
Yeah. The one thing I noticed, and hopefully Arteta noticed, is that to start the second half, they did bring in 2 new players because it wasn't working for them, right? And Arteta needs to know that he can make subs before the 70th mark. That is an okay thing.
Yeah.
And even at halftime, if you need to get things right for your squad. Now, the last 30 minutes of the game, that's probably where we also saw them continue to have a lot of possession of the game or the ball. I felt like whenever we decided to put our foot forward, we got something out of it. We just, like Tony said, we kind of were okay to absorb everything they had, and maybe we're saving ourselves. And I don't personally like that too much, especially when you've got 5 subs. Probably no reason to do that because there'll be games where you're going to need to bring somebody in and continue the same pressure that you put on in the game to see the thing out. And that might be to get the next goal or to continue to defend pretty well. So the next 30 minutes, I think, kind of just sitting there, just hanging around, just trying to get to have those last 30 minutes of the game end. Tony, anything you got to say about that last 30 minutes?
Yeah. I'd say 74 minutes before we make any subs. Looking at, let's see who goal came on.
But 3 substitutions as well in the 73rd minute. Emile Smith-Rowe coming on, Eddie Nketiah coming on, and Tomiyasu coming on. Tony.
I think Eddie's kind of been disappointing.
Yeah.
I think it puts up there that we definitely need a second striker. Somebody that can compete to maybe get a start ahead of
I think there's been
Jesus.
some. I think there's been some words from Arteta saying, "Listen, we're not done in the transfer market, so I want to see a plan B, a taller striker coming in that could be a second or third striker, depending. But we need that other point of attack, whether it be a kind of a wide forward or a central forward that has some height that can give us a little bit more presence in those games.
Yeah, that's also why I think we need to bring Marquinhos in. He's big and physical. He can come in and do something
He's
on the
he's
wings.
about the
Plus,
same height, isn't he? About the same height as Gabriel Jesus, though,
he's
or if not
thicker
shorter.
though. He's
You
thicker
think
though.
he's thicker than
I,
him? I don't
Yeah, I
know.
think
I
so.
think.
Here's the thing. I
Uh,
don't. I'll just say I don't think he can hold up the ball in the middle of a Premier League defense like
not
Jesus
in the
can.
middle.
Not right
Well, he's not.
now. You know what I mean? That
Well, he's a
and
be on the wing, Gary. You
we've
don't
seen
have to.
that, right? We've seen that now in a couple games. Jesus is able to hold the ball up, and allow us to let players come on to get into the final third, and we've got some good things out of it. So yeah,
I think we might see Marquinhos during the Europa League, though, in the Carabao Cup games, Gary.
mm. No, that's perfect for what we brought him, what we spent on him,
Yeah.
and what I
We'll
expected out of him.
we'll make a decision
Uh,
maybe in January.
yeah, yeah. So Tony, you think we need to bring in another striker?
Yeah.
Is there a striker that we can bring in, or is it for me? It's just a forward. I don't care. Give me a
It's
number
just a
9.
forward to me, just somebody kind of bigger, taller, target man.
Yeah,
I'd
Doesn't
love to
really
know.
matter the name of the player, just somebody big, tall, can
yeah,
get across on those crosses and give you a little bit something different. Be nice to
yeah.
have a big, pacey guy. Somebody with some speed would be nice.
I heard you. I'm of the opinion it shouldn't. It doesn't matter if you're good enough and you've got a good system in place. It doesn't matter. They're not gonna beat you. You know what I mean? Like we're
Yeah.
talking bringing in a big striker because the other team's probably beating us up a little bit on that with their back line, and we need something different there. But if we continue to play the way we are and we have depth, proper depth, right? Nketiah right now isn't he's not going to push Jesus ever to the bench, which is not a
No.
good thing. We need
No.
somebody who can.
I, I was wondering if we would have started with Eddie and Nketiah, Gary, yesterday and have Jesus on the bench. If it wasn't working after 50 or 60 minutes, bring Gabriel Jesus on in this game. We need to maybe give Nketiah some more minutes as well. And that's kind of like we want the points, but we want minutes in Eddie's legs as well. What do you think?
I'm in agreement that he's going to have to start some games before we get into Europa League, right? Because whatever system Arteta has in place, Eddie's going to have to be able to handle that. So the more he's watching from the sideline, seeing Jesus, he's hopefully picking up on some things that he can bring to his game that he hasn't before that we need. I mean, Tony, what do you think about Nketiah getting games sooner than later?
I just don't see him getting the starts, knowing the way Arteta does. He just doesn't rest players. He's like, here's my set 13 players, and it's pretty much usually the same 11 starting no matter what.
I
So
think, yeah,
I just don't see it switching.
I hear
Hopefully
you, but I
he
don't. Yeah, sorry.
hopefully he switches in different competitions. Last year he kept playing the same players, not bringing in too many other players in the cups. Was playing Saka throughout all those competitions.
Yeah,
3,000 minutes. Yesterday was his
Well,
100th game for Arsenal
yeah.
already. At 20 years old, that's a little much. We need some rest. We should be coming off with 30, 25 minutes left, especially when the games showed up like it was yesterday. No reason for him being out there on the pitch. Looks off. Gets a contract in his head. What's going on there? But just he's played so many games, but he's definitely looked off in preseason and can continue and into a season. So we definitely need to check on that. But as far as Nketiah, I just don't think he's good enough. We definitely haven't got 300 grand out of him. That's how much he's earned so far. So
even if he was worth 100. We weren't going to get 100 out of him in the first 3 games.
Yeah,
I have a feeling
he's got to
going
get
forward from
starts. I
here.
just don't.
Well,
I just
yeah,
don't
but
see it
yeah,
happen.
we've got weeks in between each one of these games. Going forward, we start getting into the midweek games, and he's he's come on the last 2 games, I believe. So
Yeah.
I see him playing in either the Fulham or the Villa game. Most likely the
Yeah.
Fulham. Probably I don't know. Either one of them, he's going to have to start. It doesn't really matter if you bring in Jesus for the Villa game, then he's on a short week playing United, right, away. So
That surprised me
however you would
that
decide to do that.
Eddie came on for Martinelli instead of Jesus. I kind of thought that was a little strange.
Well,
They
maybe
went
is
4-4-2.
it? Are we? Yeah, didn't they push Jesus outside, right? And Nketiah was seemed to be playing through the middle.
I think if you want to spark Eddie Nketiah, you bring him on with Gabriel Jesus, and you maybe hope that combination pays off. And there was a couple of chances toward the end of the game, and Nketiah had a shot saved. Emile Smith-Rowe had a shot saved as well. So he just needs more minutes, and I think if he starts against Fulham, I think it's a good shot to start Eddie Nketiah against Fulham at home for me anyway, at least for the first half.
And the way we've been playing, he should hopefully take all 90 minutes. It'd be nice to just tell Jesus to take a break.
Yeah,
at some point we're gonna have to do that. It's
don't
just
you
not.
don't you get worried, Gary? Jesus puts so much physicality, so much energy into the games. We're gonna have to maybe give Gabriel Jesus a rest here and now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, definitely, and in preparation for an October, that's going to be really tough. We need to be able to have some sort of confidence that Nketiah is going to give us something, unless they bring in somebody new. But I don't necessarily see that. And even if they do, I think Nketiah, unless it's the perfect guy for Arteta, are we going to see them right away? Maybe not. So yeah. No, I can't see that, but we'll see. We'll see about that. So that's the entire game. We kind of went through, the game in like 30-minute segments there. Arsenal, as you said, started out with around 60% of the possession in the first half, flipped it on the second half, but still was able to score and keep a clean sheet. So get the 3 points. We sit top of the league and
100%.
going in starting today. Everybody assumed City would probably be able to get all 3 points. Playing at Newcastle, and they almost did. But Newcastle probably should have gotten all 3 points as well. So really tough, really good game. Very entertaining. 3 goals scored in both halves. Really good start there for Newcastle, and I guess as Tony said, it might scare some people the way Newcastle is playing and how much. They still have a lot of money they can spend, more than most.
Yeah.
So they can only get better if they decide to spend more money.
The league table is looks a little bit strange right now. Manchester United and West Ham at the bottom of the table. Liverpool struggling on 2 points. We'll see what happens tomorrow with that game. Jurgen Klopp wants an automatic 3 points if there's some kind of a pitch invasion, and shout out to my boy Aronson scoring for Leeds, and Mr. Tom's very happy today. This is a Bethlehem Steel shirt. I've watched Aronson play live, and I've been repping him ever since. He's come to the Premier League now and doing things. He's stepping up each level. So Thomas Tuchel not very happy. I don't know how he got on the sideline today after having a red card, but take it away, Gary.
Oh yeah. So Tony, did you get to see the late game today?
No, I didn't get to see it because
Okay.
it wasn't on Peacock, or I would have watched it. I thought it was going to be an interesting game. I thought Newcastle would give them a good fight. They did.
Mm-hmm.
Did you smile?
Surprised.
Sorry, Tony.
Me? Gary smiled.
Gary, did you smile when I said?
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. I guess that's one of my bullet points here. We'll talk about them. So, yeah. But no, it actually was a really good game. I think Maximan, he played really good, and he shown. I guess if you're going to beat City today, at least in the first 3 games of the season, and if probably the probably the scariest that back line looked today was when Maximin had the ball and was attacking them. They really didn't have much of an answer for him. I mean, he put the ball basically in a nice spot for Callum for that third goal that they got. But he was threatening them all day. I mean, they had to bring him down. I think he had probably about 4 or 5 yellow cards on their defense alone. So lots of pressure they were putting on them on the counter, of course. But you know what? That's probably how you have to play them, and that's why when we play these big teams, you got to look at how teams attack them. Arteta wants to go, 1v1 against them, whereas a lot of other teams are like, you know what, we'll wait for our chance and we'll take it and continue to hurt them, and that's what they did in the game.
And a lot of times he likes absorbing that pressure against those big teams instead of going straight for the counterattack, trying to use speed and to beat them that way. You just can't beat them sitting back. You got to go after them. Go after them early. They might let some goals in like Newcastle did against them today.
Yeah.
As far as Newcastle, I kind of thought they would get 6 this year. Now I think I can find 4th or 5th.
Yeah. I hear you. I just don't know if Maximin can keep that up for a large percentage of the season. I mean, as I was kidding, in the DMs there, he's got some knee wraps on. That's not there for just to keep the muscles warm. That's probably there for precautionary reason. So will you see him play like that against everybody? Probably not. Do they have somebody else to come in that can do the same job? I don't think so. So when he's in there and he's healthy, I think they're good. Sam is joining us. Welcome, Sam, to the show.
A couple of seasons back when they avoided relegation, they relied on Saint-Maximin, and he would run himself into the ground so much so he'd be injured in the next game. You'd get one good performance out of him, then he'd be injured. But that's the kind of player he is. I think he puts.
We'll see. We'll see if he comes back. So I guess Ray did bring up United, and I'll try to go to some of you guys' comments here. But I guess one comment that did come up there from Arsenal Misfit, which I think will be crucial to how we finish out this transfer window. He's talking about Arteta's game management, and you're up 2 goals, and they've made subs at half. The game's starting for me getting dry, getting a little bit it's getting boring essentially. Like we can't continue to do what we're doing either because we're tired or they've made some adjustments. We didn't seem to make any adjustments, and we definitely did not bring in any fresh legs. And I think Arteta's going to have to think about doing subs before the 70th minute. You know what I mean? I think that's going to be key not only to getting better performances out of the team as a whole, but also getting other players involved. Right?
What makes you think he's going to change what he's been doing?
He's going to have to, or he's going to get injuries. I mean, that's just he's going to.
So it's a fine line for me, right? If you bring players in 10 minutes before, 10, 15 minutes before, you're risking a further injury to Tomiyasu or Emile Smith-Rowe, who have been injured more recently. Eddie came on, that's fine, he's been playing. But do you want a setback to Tomiyasu again? We don't know what's going on. We have to trust the medical staff that are advising. And maybe they're saying to Arteta, he's good for 20 minutes.
Well, if he can go for 90 and under 23s, he should be able to go for 30 minutes in the Premier League.
Yeah. Listen, you're probably more right than I am, but I'm just putting that out there.
You're trying to get excuses for him.
I'm telling you, you are right, Tony. You are right. But I have to have a counterpoint to you sometimes.
You don't have to. You don't have to. You can agree with him once in a while.
Listen,
that's allowed.
In my notes, Gary, it does say after 60 minutes, substitutions, please. We're 3-0 up here. Substitutions. So, yes, I agree with both of you. We needed them around 60 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, Saka was the play I thought would come off, not because just so that we could see something different on that right hand side. Maybe that would open things up for us, and maybe you know, Milsworth Rowe or somebody could have gone there and maybe tried something a little bit different because what Saka was doing wasn't necessarily working for me. Would have been nice to see that as well.
What do you see with Saka so far this season, Gary and Tony?
Go ahead, Tony.
The player he was last season?
To me, I don't know how much of it is that he's just something's in his mind and he's just tired from playing, or part of it's because White's there instead of Tomiyasu because he's dropping back a lot more. So he's doing a lot more running back than he did last season. But
okay. Do you think that Ben White is the player that will say to Saka, hey, I need you to help me cover back? Because we saw that in the Crystal Palace game.
I don't think he has to. I think he just sees it and he just does it. I don't think you have to tell Saka that because
he's got that intelligence. Yeah.
He started off as being a defender, so
there's something where he's not really combining though, Gary, right? With the rest of the team.
Yeah, well, I get the laying back a little bit when we're on the attack for defensive purposes, but I'm talking about when he actually has the ball at his feet. That's where at that point, all right, you've been starved of having an attack, being part of the attack. How about you go get something out of this, right? Because he can get past his man. He can put in a nice cross if he needs to. We've seen him score. All of those things should be going through his mind at that point. It doesn't seem like he's engaged in the game that, when he does get an opportunity, he takes it, right? It's just, those chances don't come all the time, but when they do, you should just take them and see what happens. So, we're in tier. I don't know about that. I mean, yes, he played in a bit in the summer, but he did get time off. He should be recharged and ready to go. And we can't be looking at our left side going, all right, the left side looks good. Last season it was the right side looking good for one reason or another, and not, go, wait a second, we have to have balance. So what are we doing differently? Maybe he needs to sit, right? And that's why maybe, we are looking at maybe a winger to come in there so we can sit him, or, because we don't have to, we're not going to play Pepe, right? Pepe seems to be somebody out the door, and that would be the easy choice to bring in at this point. But
Orbinho had that stat that most of our play was going down the right hand side, so that would be through Saka, but it just doesn't show. We didn't see that.
Doesn't look like it watching my games.
I don't see that. I mean, look where we scored from. The first goal, I mean, I guess
the plays from the right on two of the three goals.
2 to 3 they came from the right. Yeah. But I kind of feel like Martinelli's. Yeah. No. You know what? Somebody said in the last game, Saka put in a couple of passes that, if we had scored from, that'd have been 2 assists coming off the right side. So part of me is like, well, maybe everything's fine. And we're just expecting him to score goals and assists to come out of that side. And maybe they will when players get more, familiar with the process and the system and all of that.
I think we just have to get used to this, Gary. We're better with Saliba, with Gabriel Jesus, and with Zinchenko in the side. We're a better team than we were last year.
Yep.
And thinking that Bukayo Saka can be the star boy every week was unfair, and continues to be unfair for us to say that each and every week here.
Yeah, but he just doesn't look as good going forward as he has. He just looks off.
Yeah, but again, that we've raised levels with Jesus, Zinchenko down the left-hand side, particularly. We've activated Martinelli, and Saliba is very solid in that right central defensive slot as well. So
I don't think we're asking more of him than we saw last season. You give me Saka from last season, I think it doesn't look like what we see today.
And we were calling for Odegaard to shoot and get goals. Maybe it's going to happen for Saka pretty soon as well.
Yep. Yep, hope so. And as Sam said here, St. Maximin was really good today. Very good. Put a lot of pressure on their back line. Lacks finishing ability, but I don't recall seeing him shoot too much. I see him attacking that back line, opening things up for his teammates, and they got the 3 goals. So maybe, Hey, Jesus does the same thing for us, right? He doesn't scored in our last game, but he's definitely crucial to our attack and creates problems for the back line. So, some days they will score and some days they won't, but we shall see. Yeah.
Tony never admits he is wrong, though.
Yeah.
He expects you to admit it, though. He expects other people to admit when they're wrong, but Tony won't.
I'm not wrong that often.
Tony,
He's
you said
never
it on
wrong.
live TV, my man. Don't do that. Don't lie to the people.
Hey,
Never
Ray,
say never.
who's won the
Yeah,
last 2 years?
don't lie to people. The people know, Tony.
Ray,
Can't fool all of the people all the time.
Ray, who's won the last 2 seasons out of the preseason predictions?
I guess
Who's
it's
the guy
you.
down here.
Good job, Tony.
Broken clock and all that.
Yeah,
Broken clock.
I didn't say that,
Look.
Tony.
Right
I've been
twice a
right
day.
2 times.
Well, how can it be twice? He's got like 20. You got 20 options. I mean, come on. It can't be broken twice a day. You got 20 options. Yeah. Now Newcastle definitely deserve points today. But yeah. Tony, the voice of reason and optimism. There
Not
you go.
good for me. To be
Optimism.
honest.
Riddy, what have you been
Optimism.
watching? Have you been watching, Tony?
And Reddy is the voice of sarcasm.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, possibly.
Hey, I said we'd win 3-1 yesterday.
I hear that. Here you go, Riddy, the voice of DWTT. There you go.
Insane excuses like a homeless man on liquor.
Sam's all over. And Anfield Road TV, thanks for joining us. There you go. I guess tomorrow you guys will have
Go.
Guys will be enjoying tomorrow, huh?
We're happy to have Jesus on Sundays. And listen, the voice of Kahoot is taking a week off, really, before you ask. We're not going to do any Kahoot today, but come back next week for it. Stick around, but come back next week.
Yeah. Mr. Tom did not watch any football yesterday, thus did not see Arsenal get all 3 points and finish the day at the top of the table, and then finish today as well at the top of the table. So there, we'll take it, right? We shall take it.
9
So,
points.
yeah.
9
So
points.
we'll go through. We'll do a thing. We'll go through and look. I'll just give out the scores. You guys can pick a game or whatever you want, and then we'll go from there. So start out the weekend, right? That team playing home against Wolves. Ugh. The man. I don't even want to call him the myth, but that
The
guy,
man, the myth, the legend.
Harry Kane, does what he does, right? He scores, and I'm looking. That it just pissed me off so much. Their defender basically got shook by Harry Kane and basically gave him the back corner of the goal for a shot, and he heads it in like he does. Then next after that, you've got the Crystal Palace. I think it looked like it was going to be a close game with Villa, but then they basically ran away. They basically ran away with it.
Should we have comments on each one, Gary?
I'll just go through them all, and you guys can pick one. Let me go quickly through them, and then you can pick because they're. I don't think we want to go. You want to go through all what 8?
I think why not? Just a moment. It won't take too long. I mean, Harry Kane is now the top goal scorer, right, in the Premier League. But look at that caption. You got Aguero, you got Shearer, you got Henry, you got Rooney. What have all those players done? They've won honors in their career. And Harry Kane, he's going to hang his boots up and say, I was the top goal scorer. Well, you didn't win any trophies. That's, to me, what measures your career, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, listen, the defender was outmuscled by Harry Kane. The defender was paying attention to Harry Kane. And when the ball comes in, he loses his man, and Harry Kane's there for an easy header. Disappointing.
Yeah, I think it was a young defender, and the one thing you can't do is give away that much space, and he did. Any kind of contact, and he might be able to throw him off, but he was nowhere in the picture. Tony, did you see that game?
No, I didn't watch it, but I seen the highlights of it. To me, it's kind of surprising to see Wolves give Spurs that heart of the game.
Well, isn't that what people call Spursy? That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Right? They play a really tough game, at the Bridge. You expect them to come back and do the same thing, and then they don't. Right?
We have a compare ourselves to them, we have a big contrast in styles. I think Conte sets up very defensively. He's going to wait for those one or two opportunities, and I think we're going to set up more open, possession-based football. And hopefully, these three players I talked about earlier will be the big difference in us improving this season.
We need more than the three.
Yeah,
Pretty much need everyone that we brought in: Marquinhos, Vieira, and Turner.
we
All
have
three of them plus. We're gonna need some more from
we've
other
got
players.
10 days now till the window closes, and we got a great opportunity. If we stalled in January to wait for Gabriel Jesus, we cannot stall these next 10 days. We have to get a couple more players in the door to boost and help us in this season.
True. All right, let's just move along before we run out of time here. I know there's probably lots of stuff we can talk about. Next game, Crystal Palace. As I said, it was a kind of a close game for a bit with Villa, but then Crystal Palace was able to run away with it. I think they run away with it late in that game, if I recall. You guys watch that game?
Yeah. I watched it because Tony and I picked Crystal Palace as our upset pick, and we are very happy to announce to you, Gary, that we picked up all 7 points from that challenge.
Very nice.
Going a goal down early on, but Wilfried Zaha is Tony. He's not a striker. They play on the counter attack, and Wilfried Zaha is a winger, and he had the pace. He had the pace now to beat Virgil van Dijk up at Anfield, and then to who was he beat Konza or something like that. But just a great athlete. Wilfried Zaha is, and he inspired them on to the win. Tony,
I keep listening to this 4-2-3-1. Yeah, Zaha has done good up there. Kind of surprising to see him with 3 goals already. And Vieira's doing a good job with him.
Yeah, Vieira has done a good job with that young team. He needs to go forward again. If he gets more than 48 points this season, Tony, I will say well done to Patrick Vieira.
I want to be surprised if he doesn't get another job before the season's over.
Yep, we shall see. We shall see. And the next game after that, Everton against Nottingham Forest. I think everybody's happy with the way that game finished. I believe our Everton did jump ahead with the lead in that one, but wasn't able to hold on, if I recall.
Nottingham Forest took the lead, and Damari Gray was able to equalise at the end.
Correct.
Mahir and Matt and Sam were on that upset challenge, and I think they were happy to get the point at the end and get some points there.
Yeah. But, anything on?
Nottingham Forest spent a lot of money, Gary.
They spent a lot of money if they're getting points out of it, right? And they are sitting in the basically top number 10 right now in the league. So I guess it's worth it so far, all right? If you can hold on to that, you'll take that in your first season in the league. Tony, anything on the Everton Nottingham Forest draw?
Nope. That's one of those who nobody cares games of the week.
Hey, you care if Everton falls, right?
I would love them to get relegated.
There you go.
What Everton did to Patrick Vieira, we're not going to forget about that stuff. So Everton's not one of my favorite clubs for sure.
True. All right, so then next up here, you've got Fulham squeaking out the win at the end against Brentford. They took a 2-0 lead. Brentford was able to draw it back up 2-2, but then right at the end, Mitrovic was able to put in a score, and they get all 3 points. Fulham looking good right now, all right?
Yeah, and listen, we face Fulham next, and we got to be wary of Mitrovic. I'm sure we are going to be aware of Mitrovic. For me, plan B, go and get Ivan Toney. He'd be perfect for Arsenal, I believe. It's going to cost a lot of money, and maybe Brentford don't want to do that. But I think Brentford have built themselves on a model of gaining from sales, Moneyball kind of thing. Stan picked that one, Fulham, and he got all 10 points from that upset.
Very nice.
Mitrovic is probably very happy right now.
Yep.
Tony, your thoughts on that one?
Fulham's kind of been one of the surprise teams so far. Way they've started out playing good. We'll see if it continues, but not much really to say about the game.
True. I mean, one thing, like as you said, Mitrovic did score that goal. The one thing I think it did for us, anyways, it's the previous game, the game we just played, and we'll get into that as well because that was the last game of the day. Um, Moore, basically another big forward there. We got a little preparation for how to play a little bit against a big forward. You could see how. I mean, I thought he looked 2-3 inches taller than our center backs yesterday, but we were able to get in front of him. He wasn't able to muscle us out or anything like that. We kept him pretty much at bay. So I think I'm hoping that prepares us for Mitrovic when we play. I think we're playing home, right? So yeah,
Playing at home next weekend.
all right. So
Another late game.
cool. So next game, got Leicester City home to Southampton. Leicester City really 0-0 draw at the half. Madison scores first to put them up a goal, and then Southampton kind of just works their way back into the game. About 10-15 minutes later, they draw it up through Che Adams, and then about 20 minutes later, Che Adams does it again, scores twice to kind of put them up and get them all the 3 points on the road. And to start the game, right? One, Fofana he's not even suited, and Tielemans is not even starting. So who knows what Leicester City is doing, but Tielemans does come into the game later on, but
yeah,
who knows what's going on with Leicester.
So Brendan Rodgers explained there was a formation change to put Tielemans on the bench, and Wesley Fofana is not of the mindset that he could play because of a potential move to Chelsea. Tielemans may, obviously, we hope, end up at Arsenal as well. But Brendan Rodgers, what has happened to Leicester City? That club used to be run really, really well. I believe they're in a lot of debt right now, and they're going to be forced to sell some players, Fofana and maybe Tielemans, for about 100 million combined.
The craziest thing is they haven't signed anybody yet.
Well, they don't have any money.
Goalkeeper. They don't have money.
They have no money, so they can't buy players.
And look at Nottingham Forest. We say they're 10th place. Generally, if you spend money, it will, in this division, it will put you in the position where you need to be if you spend money. But you have to spend it correctly. We know that at Arsenal. And hopefully in the last 2 years, we've started to do that. Stan the man taking it easy in bed today. Ivan Toney will want first team assurances. Coming to a big club like Arsenal, Arsenal cannot guarantee minutes to anyone. Yeah. So you go there and you compete, right?
Yeah. But if he earns it and you got a front line with Tony and Jesus, you're laughing, right?
Yeah.
You're laughing. You're enjoying life if that's where you are, and that means that he's basically pushed Jesus out wide, right?
Yeah.
So there you go.
Not unthinkable to do that.
And that means Martinelli and
that's fine.
That means a lineup like that is getting you to a final of maybe the Europa League, maybe a cup competition as well.
I'd worry about winning the league, not those competitions.
Yeah, but you know what? We don't have the depth, so we're going to have to pick and choose. It's more likely we can get a European championship than it is, finish off the 38-game season with a squad that we have today. You bring in a Tony that gives you some depth up front, but we still have question marks for me at fullback that cause problems for us if we don't back those up somewhere.
Yeah, that's all Arteta's fault from going from way too big of a squad to way too big thin.
He didn't go to too big of a squad. He just couldn't get rid of players, so we just had. Eventually, it looked like we had a lot of players, but we weren't going to play them.
He said we had too many players.
No, but we had. Remember when we had 10 center backs? When we had 10 center backs, right? So, Escape, welcome to the show. I saw, there was Stan did join us. Stan, welcome to the show. So, everybody, welcome to the show. I'm helping Ray out today, so I'll be talking a little bit more than he is. if he lets me.
Might be a welcome change, right?
Nah, everybody loves the Ray, man. So next, we already talked about the Arsenal match, so I think I'm going to skip that. I don't think we need to talk about that one anymore. But today, big game, first game of the day, or first two games of the day. We'll start with the first one now. We'll start with the one that's probably everybody wants to hear.
Yeah.
West Ham home to Brighton, right? That's what everybody wants to talk about.
No, I thought you were going to go with the other one. Everyone wants to hear about the other
take
one.
Take my lead, Ray.
Okay.
Don't mess up my flow.
I'm with you. I'm going to go along with you and see where it ends.
I kid, but we're gonna get to the big game. Yeah, the next two games are really we should have a lot to talk about. But the Brighton, West Ham against Brighton, that actually was my upset pick, and I did not win.
Well, you were upset.
I was upset, but I did not get any points for it. I assumed West Ham would show up at home.
Yeah.
Obviously, they did not. Brighton did, and how did Brighton do it? Let's see. So, Brighton scores midway through the first half. Alex McAllister scores, and then to start off the second half, 10 minutes or so in, Leandro Trossard scores as well, and they basically take all the points. And West Ham, who did it even started for them? Let's see. I just can't believe that they can't get anything out of a Brighton game.
Right? Did you watch the West Ham game, Gary?
I did not get a chance to watch that one, so I don't know. No, so the lineup, yeah. So like I assumed, right? You've got Antonio starting up top. You had Bowen in there, Declan Rice, Souček. I mean, Benrahma. I assumed at some point they were going to wake up, but obviously they are still sleeping at the wheel right now. And Brighton, who's actually been playing really well so far this season, was able to go on the road and get a 2-goal win. Do you see that? You got anything to say more on that one, Ray?
Listen, I would just say, Arsenal fans, we've become a little bit snobby about the type of players that we need to bring into our club. Listen, you've made debate about Ivan Toney, but another player is like Trossard. He could do a job for us. It's just that we have needed to look for players who are hungry in the lower reaches of the division and want to take a step forward with our club. Trossard's the type of player that could do that. I'd like to go after Jared Bowen as well, possibly target him. I don't know what's going on at West Ham either. You would have expected that reaction, Gary. And
yeah.
But again, Brighton, they're that little club that keep on punching above their weight, right?
Yeah. No, for sure. And Sam, I did not forget Brighton. I just assumed West Ham would actually turn things around the way their season has started, and obviously they did not, right? So I was wrong. And as it stands right now, West Ham's sitting bottom of the table, maybe until tomorrow, right? But there you go. I was wrong.
Rodrigo, top of the league, right?
Tony, anything else you want to say on the West Ham Brighton game?
Just the penalty kind of helps Brighton there. And West Ham's given Fat Frank some competition on being sacked first. Fat Frank might not be the first one sacked.
There you go.
Might be Rodgers.
West Ham fans cannot be too happy about what's going on there now.
I heard West Ham actually did play a midweek game or something. Is that right? No, right?
Maybe. I mean, I can check into that.
I thought that's what I heard. Maybe I misunderstood that. So, getting into the game of the weekend, and way Leeds playing at home, Ellen Road, right? Chelsea comes in.
Europa Conference.
They played conference.
So they did play a match. They did travel, so maybe that will put. That's probably why they looked a little sluggish there. But yeah. So Leeds, Chelsea, everybody. I'm thinking, Chelsea's gonna, with all these moves they're making, the bench where they had it set up at Leeds. Maybe this is they're gonna show us what they got. Not a good day for them. So, kind of go through the scoring real quick here. As you said, Ray, Arison starts things off in the 33rd minute, gets a goal. soon after that, Rodrigo then joins the party, puts them up 2-0, and after the second half, Jack Harrison comes in and he scores, assisted by Rodrigo. So both Rodrigo and Harrison had a goal and assist in that game. Very good from both of them. So Leeds at home basically shut down Chelsea, and they did not look good at all. Did not look. I mean, the one thing that stands out to me every time I see it is we keep talking about Koulibaly being a really good defender, and I keep seeing him getting. This Premier League is tough, and I don't know if he can keep up. He ends up getting, I think, 2 yellows, and he's out of there, right?
Yep.
And this is the second game he's gotten a red.
I don't know.
Or he's gotten thrown out, but
in the Premier League this season. No.
Maybe it was maybe it was in preseason or something like that. But he looked bad there. But yeah, he's not able to keep up against the teams in the Premier League. So we'll see how he does, but not good so far. So Ray, tell me, Leeds.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to keep repping this Bethlehem Steel shirt and saying, Aronson, you're going to be tired of me talking about this, but Aronson is the player who's not the biggest physically, but he's making up for it with the energy that he can bring. He's perfect player for Leeds. I told Mr. Tom this months ago, and he's going to weigh in with 6 or 7 goals this season for Leeds. And he should have really had been off the mark. It was an own goal in one of the previous games that they won. But to close down the keeper, Mendy like that, taking a chance, players that's really good now playing out from the back. But Aronson is that kind of player. And Ramsdale, if you're watching, I know you watch us, Aaron Ramsdale, don't mess around when you're playing Leeds. And Aronson's closing in on you. Why was Tommy Tickle on the sideline? I don't understand that. You get a red card, you're not supposed to be in the dugout. Maybe it was a suspended sentence.
Didn't both managers get red? I thought, or just
the
one.
Both got fined. One got fined more than
Okay.
the other.
Okay.
One got the red card, which was Tuchel. Apparently, he still has Antonio's arm connected to his hand right now, so he's using that. Tommy Tickle's arm right now is 5 meters long. So there you go. But yeah, Chelsea didn't come prepared. Koulibaly was upset by Aronson early on, got that yellow card. Rodrigo has sort of taken on the responsibility now that Rafinha has left. And Mr. Tom, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, look back in the 1970 FA Cup final. That was where the history of this fixture started. One of the dirtiest games or the toughest games you'll ever see. And it looked like at least the Leeds fans knew all about the history of that game because the Chelsea player didn't turn up, in my opinion. And Chelsea are not going to be the team they have been in previous years. I'm going to call that now. They might actually drop out of the top 4. What do you think, Tony?
I think they could. Like I said, Newcastle could be one of those teams to sneak in there in the top 4. They got money if they want to spend the summer to make a little bit more improvements to the team, which I would do if I was them. But I don't know, Chelsea's kind of chaotic with the ownership change, lots of staff changes, lots of changes in the board and stuff with a new owner. So, they're still in turmoil after they got sanctioned and stuff. So, I don't know. They might turn it around.
Yeah.
Tuchel's a good coach. It's a long season. Got the World Cup in the middle, so who knows what's happened with this season. It's topsy-turvy, so
I think we're seeing the value of a good preseason, though, especially in this World Cup year. You get off to a good start. You want to finish in November in a decent position because you're going to stop playing football for about 2 months. And we don't know what the effects of the World Cup will be on a lot of our players coming back. So it's important for us as Arsenal fans to get off to a good start here. And we've done that. And we've seen Man United and Chelsea maybe struggle because they have not been prepared well this summer.
And with Chelsea, they're kind of like us. They got a lot of players that's be in the World Cup. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're more set up to do it because they got more depth than we do. But to be interesting to see how that turns out.
No, definitely, and I think at least I thought, and I guess we're seeing that's not true, that Tuchel is not as good as a coach as I thought he was, because as much as they're struggling, they do have quality players on the pitch, and they just come out looking the way they do. It's like that whole, the last year and a half in the league, he hasn't learned anything from it, right? He did much better, and some would say look almost similar to what Arteta did, right? First 6 months on the job, able to get something out of it, and then when it comes down to it, now you start to implement your own style of play. Things slow down a little bit and take a step back, and that's kind of where he is now, right? This is his third year in the league.
And let's not forget
Yeah.
they finished the season pretty bad as well, Gary.
Yeah.
And now they started the season not great either.
Yeah.
You know,
They didn't fix necessarily all the problems that they had, and they do have the money, but it seems a lot of players nowadays just aren't just going to go just because the money's there. They are looking at, and like you said, because it is the World Cup, they are probably looking at how the squad is built and whether or not it can help them as well as pay them well too, right? I mean that's what we're seeing anyway. So that is Tony. Anything else you have on the Leeds game?
Well,
Yeah.
nobody cares about that Leeds
Yeah,
team.
Mr. Tom
really,
Taylor,
really nobody cares about it. But
where are they? They're in fourth.
Mr.
Where are
Thomas,
they?
they're in third. They're in third place in the table, right? They're in third in the table right now.
It's early
They
days.
are they are tied with that team on on points and goal difference. So there you go, there you go. So maybe they can keep that spot and keep that team down as well. That'd be really nice.
The atmosphere was really great, Gary. I thought it was a great game of football.
Oh, yeah. No, they did. They did it. It did. It was a nice day out at the stadium. All right, for all their fans. Oh, Tony, you're in trouble. Mr. Tom will remember that. Yeah.
He's just trying to bait you, Tom. He's just trying to bait you.
Yeah. As Stan says, if Abramovich was still
I'm
around,
just trying to make Tom smile. That's all I'm trying to do.
Tuchel will probably be gone, especially after the way they finished last season. Yeah, I that it looks like that deal for Lukaku definitely has hurt them, and they're not going to be able to recover from that one. And not any of the prior big deals they did either, right? Werner's gone for nothing. I mean, it's a lot of money spent, not going anywhere, not getting anything out of it.
I don't know how Tony continues to defend Tuchel but not give Arteta praise. I'm just going to lay that out there.
I haven't seen Arteta improve game management, man's management.
It's the club. Look at the clubs. I think they're going in different directions, Tony.
Somebody's investing a lot of money. The owners, I think, are doing it for the Champions League. Might be doing it because I don't want to be proved wrong twice on a manager, but I think we're doing it to get Champions League. You spend that much money, right? You expect something out of it. Don't you get $270 million in 2 summers? Expect something out of it.
Yeah, we've expected this from Arsenal for the last 5 or 6 years.
Some will say for the last 18, 20 years.
Yeah.
So,
but
so a lot of people are waiting.
Like this before.
And once again, we are comparing Arteta to who? If this was a third year football player, what would you be expecting out of them? Something you get from an 8-year career player, or you actually would have to, bite your lip and take the 3 years. I kind of feel like that's where we are, and that's why I don't want to wait, but I have to wait if Arsenal's going to wait on Arteta to catch up. That's where we are. Let's
look at the Rams, Gary. How long did it take him to?
Well, Gary, I think it's been slower, but I think we're building in the right way. I know it's slower than we want, right?
It is.
We don't want to do this like Man United under Solskjaer.
Yeah.
We want to do this like Pep under City, like Klopp under Liverpool. And
maybe,
the
maybe
comparison.
Arsenal is getting lucky that it's working out so far, but it took them 15 years to get where they are, before Arteta got here, and it was just going backwards each time, each year, getting worse and worse. So
So
yeah,
yeah,
and
the ownership.
it's yeah, and Tony, it's hard to compare to what the Rams did to what Arsenal is trying to do. Just the leagues are so different with the way that players move there. Rams weren't a bad team.
I just don't. I think it's a poor excuse saying a new
So
manager
I
can't
think
do anything
I
That's
with a
think
team.
it is true. The best managers get the most out of their squads. We see it today.
Well, let's look up Vieira. He coached New York FC, second season of their existence, got them to a playoff. Goes to Nice, first year gets them third best defense in the league. Been doing well with 13 new players last season with Palace. Doing good this year. Gave us a hard fight. Gave other teams hard fight. So they can do it.
We'll see where we finish off though, right? And you're talking about a manager who's on his third job versus one who's in his first. It's hard to compare, and that's why I keep saying it's all about experience and time. You put a manager in with experience, they probably have a lot more answers quicker than one that doesn't, has never done it before.
But the to your point, Gary, and I will agree with this. There can be no more excuses. Third year, you should have made your mistakes. You should be learning from your mistakes. And Mikel Arteta, listen, some would say we want some kind of a title challenge. I would love that, but let's be realistic and say third place is realistic for me. Um, the issue with Arsenal has been the ownership, and Kroenke's not wanting to invest until they had 100% ownership in the club, and that's what's maybe
That's
set
a
us back.
bullshit excuse.
It's true.
That isn't what happened.
All right,
You
I
can't
think
believe
Gary wants to
everything the
move
team
on.
says, Ray.
I think Gary wants to move on, right, Gary?
Yeah,
That's like
yeah.
that's like that's like
Uh,
the Saliba thing. Did we waste 6 months of him because we didn't know what to do with him? We brought
On
him.
Saliba,
Yeah, he stayed
yeah,
here for 6 months
yeah,
when he could have been on loan or been playing
yeah.
with us in the under
We
23s.
wasted 6 months with Saliba, but the 2 years we let's not
It's not
focus
like
on
we
six
had a perfect
months.
plan for
But
him.
the 2 years you can't say did not work out for the player most of all. And now we're singing a Tequila song about Saliba, and we love it, right?
yeah, yeah. And we have and Arteta does, for me, have some sort of identity as how he wants the team to play. He gets his right, and every time he gets a player in that he likes, he puts it in the system, and we see more, right? We keep seeing more each time. Tomiyasu comes in on the right back, we see more from the right back side, right? Jesus comes in at the top of in the front line, we see more there. Zinchenko comes in, we see more there. So every
Love
time he brings in a player of some worth, we see more. Ramsdale, same thing, right? So he's got a plan. It's just we have to. Our Arsenal had to basically revamp an entire squad, and that's why it takes time. Anyways, let's move on to the next game. Uh, just finished an hour or two ago. Uh, Coming into it, everybody thought, at least I did, anyways, that City would be able to get all 3 points. Game didn't start that way. First goal is scored by City, and everybody's like, "Wow, all right, City's going to run away with this thing." But the next 3 goals by Newcastle, we got Amaron scores uh,
Kneecap.
with his kneecap, and then you've got Wilson scores on a maximum. Nice, he takes the ball down the
Yeah.
left side, cuts inside, puts a nice ball in there. It sits right between the two defenders, and well, Callum Wilson is able to get on it. Nice little touch, and kicks off the back foot to the far corner, and they're up 2. Then Kieran Trippier, coming into the early in the second half, scores again. Now you're up 3-1 at home, and everybody's thinking, all right, they might need another goal. All right, later on there's they do as City has done, they do score pretty quickly soon after that. Within 10 minutes after the score is 3-1, they do score the 2 goals to draw it at 3. Trippier gets lucky. Most people say he got lucky with VAR. Should have probably got a. Most probably think he gets a red there, but VAR says no, no, it wasn't as bad as as usual everybody thought. He stays on the pitch, and they're able to hold on. 3-3 draw. Nice. Tony, tell me, did you watch the game? I guess the question.
No, I didn't
No,
get to
okay.
watch it, unfortunately, because it was on Peacock.
I got
That's
things.
right. You did. You did say that.
It
You did
wasn't on
say that.
Peacock.
Sorry.
Same
I
with the
got
Leeds
things
one
to
wasn't
say
on
about that
Peacock,
game.
so I didn't get to watch
Yeah,
it.
but talked about the results, and at least if you did read it or listen to anything.
Yeah, I was following along with the game. Like I said, I thought Newcastle could give them a game. Ended up giving them a lot more than I thought they would, being up like that. But of course, Man City's got the manpower where they can come back, especially in the second half as teams getting tired. Especially with 5 subs, they can really change the game. So Newcastle is a better team than people thought they were. They can
Who's thought they weren't good?
I think people that expect them to be where they're at, going toe to toe with City.
I thought people. I thought. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I think a lot of people thought at home early in the season, Newcastle, if they were going to do anything, they had a chance. On their day.
Yeah.
And they've been improving, and a lot of people. If we're saying, I think at the beginning of the season, Newcastle is one of those teams people thought probably could finish in the top 6 if they have a really good season, and if they continue to spend. All right, and they've got some really good players out there doing some work. So, on their day, and that today was their day. They looked really good.
Yeah. I got some things on that, Gary.
Anything else, Tony, on that?
I think if they invest a little bit, they can get 4th with other teams struggling.
True.
It'd be interesting to see if they do or not, but they're a good team.
Right. Cool. And Ray, what are your thoughts on the game?
Listen, I've got some things to say. First of all, Stan, I like the song. I like the Angel song. I like the Zinchenko song in particular. Not so crazy about the Saliba song, but listen, it's about a central defender that we actually love right now.
Is this a weird song, and the character behind the song to be using it? And not only that, there's video out there of a Saliba on a video, and then the song, the character that song's based off of, if I recall, had some questionable activities going on. So it's like it sounds good and all, but it's just like
somebody somewhere is connected the dots. Maybe it's a little bit tongue in cheek right now. Well, listen.
I don't think so, Ray. I don't think somebody thought of that much.
About Newcastle and Manchester City. People in this league need to understand that if you attack, don't lay down for Manchester City. Don't lay down for Liverpool. You have to play these games on their merits. And too many teams lay down for Manchester City and take a day off. You have to go and attack them. They're vulnerable if you attack them. Tony, you had your say now. Hold on.
I was going to say something else. I'll wait.
Hold on. Yeah, I had to wait while you were talking. So many teams lay down for Manchester City, and if you attack them, you can take points off of them. Did they weaken themselves by us gaining some players, Chelsea gaining one of their players? Maybe, potentially. They've still got Haaland. But Newcastle, let's not underestimate how difficult Newcastle has always been to go up there. During Wenger's days, we needed a goal from Koscielny on the last day of the season to seal top 4. Newcastle has always been a difficult place to go to for us. And for other teams now, it's difficult. Eddie Howe is doing a good job there as well. They haven't brought in brilliant players. They brought in some good players, but they still have players like Chris Wood. Hope is a pretty decent goalkeeper for them. But at 3-1, you just knew City were going to come back, right? And they have the mark of champions, and they're not going to lay down. And Kevin De Bruyne trying that pass. Listen, I went through Willock's legs, but he still made the pass. They got the goal. And I think City will be happy with a point leaving after the way the game went. Liverpool went up there and won 2-0, and they were quite lucky to get 2-0 in the springtime. Newcastle are a decent team, um, and they could be up there at the end of the season, Gary.
No, definitely the way they play, they can continue to play that way. But also, if they're, as I've always said, if they have the depth and they can stay healthy somewhat, right? That's going to be key for them because Maximum looked really, really good. But can he do that week in, week out, game in, game out, and put his team in a position to score as he did today? They looked really good when he had the ball at his feet, running at the back line. They looked a little concerned. Tony, you said you wanted to say something on a point
Yeah,
Ray made.
as a comment on where Ray was talking about going after him on the attack, that's something that we haven't done with him except when Arteta was out and had Albert in there. You see the difference of when you go out there and attack them, put them under a little pressure. They're not expecting it.
Hmm.
I don't know why so many teams lay down against him instead of going after him. I'd rather get beat 5-0 or 5-2 trying than just lose 3-4-0, just sitting back and absorbing the pressure. Just go for it. That's
Yeah,
what you're
and
supposed to do.
other teams, the mid-table teams, Southampton's, Brighton's, they need to go and attack Manchester City as well, and make this a more competitive league when it comes to these teams playing Liverpool and Newcastle, not Newcastle, but City. You know.
And it's got to be a conscious. It's got to be they got to have to as a team attack because usually what happens is the teams lower in the table, they will get a break. Bad pass here or there,
Yeah.
and the one player instead of just continuing down the pitch will pull up for whatever reason, and all you're doing is letting City set up as opposed to maybe pushing the ball like we saw today when they got the ball and they were going down the sides. They just continue to go. Your players, your teammates have to catch up. They have to because that's part of this part of when you do counter attack against them. If you don't, then yeah, we're just gonna kick the ball out of bounds, lose it, and go back the other way. But you have to go out there and attack as a team, as a squad, as once you get that chance because we saw you will have opportunities to score if you go that route. So yeah, I think that's the key to this whole thing because I think we saw it. I think we
You
saw it
can't be
with
afraid.
West Ham in I think the first game that we saw them play against City, and the second game they basically took it to them, I believe. So you have to take advantage when they give it to you because they will. Every team will. So as it stands right now, so that's all the games. Tomorrow is another big game, right?
Yep.
Another big game is on tomorrow, and
Liverpool, Man United.
Liverpool, Man United. Everybody is looking forward to seeing how this thing goes. Manchester United was at the bottom of the table until West Ham played, but they may see themselves back there again in this next game. Liverpool is coming in. I think they've got what do they have here?
2 points.
Liverpool has 2 points or two draws. Right, they are a much better team than that. They've scored 3 goals and given up three. So they're looking for their first win of the season, and they're at home. Once again, they should, expecting them to come out and play, but United also could be, something weird could happen as well. Maybe they start to, you know, they scored 1 goal, United. So there you go. This could be interesting to see how this
Yeah,
thing goes.
and I think somebody said the goal they scored was an own goal. So if Man United are going to be putting together a goal of the month and they don't score in the next 2 games, they've only got that own OG to put up as the goal of the month for Manchester United's media. But yeah, they've not had a good start. Some people feel sorry for Ten Hag. Some people on this panel, somebody in particular feels especially sorry for Ten Hag. I'm not feeling sorry for Ten Hag. Tony.
You know he has to regret taking the job. You sounded like you regretted
You
it when
don't.
they
You
took
don't
it.
regret it. You're only a few months. You're only a few months into the job. You have to expect that there was bad days. You don't regret it this soon, right?
Yeah. But he was already complaining in the summer when they weren't giving him money to sign players and stuff, and
This
just
and this is standards, right? I mean, these managers want high standards, and we've seen from the All or Nothing. If we've seen anything from the All or Nothing documentary, it's that Arteta is pretty intense and he demands high standards from everybody.
you do remember his comment from last week, don't you? Ten Hags. He said if he could, he'd substituted all 11 players at halftime.
Yeah. And you know
Yeah,
what?
It's one of those
That's
things.
probably yeah, that's probably
I
not
would
a
almost throw
surprise though,
away a
because
game if I was him and filled nothing but under 23 players.
well, he can't do that. I mean, that's basically you're just sabotaging your career when you do something like that. You're not going to put a team in. You got to play some of your best players. Maybe he needs to have a combination of the players that can do what he wants and some of the best players in the squad out there playing, but they have to be playing as one, and I think that's the problem.
Yep.
There's 25 players, right? Supposedly on this squad. How many of them actually are on board? How many of them want to play as a strong 11?
That's what I hate about modern football is the way the players can just not play for their manager, just
Yeah.
worry about their career, not the club, not worry about who's paying them the money. We've seen it happen with Arsenal wingers last year. We've seen it with Emery. You've seen it with various squads with former Chelsea manager,
Mm.
former Man United manager. We've won
so
Champions League with multiple teams and with players just give up on him. So it's just a weird thing to see.
the bigger issue, I think, is the fans. The Manchester United fans are not happy with the ownership, and there's plans or thoughts of maybe pitch side invasion and getting the game called off. Gary, Tony.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to help them get where they want to go. I don't see
That
that
would probably be
working.
like a 10
Like,
point reduction or
yeah, no,
something.
I don't think that's going to help them. I mean, I think one of the things that, and this is, you hear it from some of the other podcasts, is that United, it's a club issue, right? It's a club issue, and it starts from the top and trickles down. And Riddy's there making, I guess saying he's enjoyed when me and Tony go against each other. When I actually enjoy going against Ray, you know. As you know, Tony says he's never wrong. So there you go. How do
Yeah,
I get
at
how do I
least
get
Gary will admit from time to time when he's wrong, and I'm always willing to admit when I'm wrong. But this guy down here,
I
no.
will try to shut Tony up when he says something silly, nonsensical, for sure. Which that does happen, Tony. You are not thinking this thing through when you bring out your comments. All right.
I would do it. I would do it to
Yeah.
prove a point to the players. I certainly
Yeah.
would.
You can't. Well, if they're gonna do that, you should have. That's when you do kind of what Arteta's been doing, right? You just get, if you're gonna spend a lot of money, spend the money, get the players out that aren't gonna be part of this. I mean, I think that's where they're going wrong. Is they're trying to keep players just because their talent is good,
Mhm.
knowing full well that they're not going to give him anything worthy of
And we don't even know
performances
what's
that he
going
can
to
do.
happen with Ronaldo, Gary. We don't even know what's going to happen with Ronaldo. Where is he going to go? Will he stay with United?
Mm.
United maybe need him for his goals, but they're not going to help their so-called process. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Grumpy old twat, says Stephen. Game of
I
Thrones.
did. I don't like Joffrey, to tell you the truth. I'm
Yeah,
I'm on season 3, and
he's
I
pretty.
you know
He's a little
I
evil, isn't
really
he?
liked the actor
it's
though. I
believable, and
liked
I
the
hate
actor
him
that
for
did
that. He does a really good job as
He's
a
quite evil.
yes, he is. So I'm only on season 3, so don't give me too many
No
more.
spoilers.
No, I already got one.
Fuck, I hate buying my
I
tickets.
assumed Joffrey was gonna have to go away, but yeah,
Everybody goes away eventually, Gary.
that is true. That is true. And like I said, I think United there'll be a lot of players going away, and they should have done that already. Like, how many players have left United? I don't know. Is it a lot? It should be a lot, right?
I don't think a lot have left right now, have
No,
they?
I don't think so. Like,
No.
and there's players that have left, but some were already on loan, right, and maybe coming back, but then left again. So I
It's
think in general they still have,
and
yeah,
Ten Hag has been installed long enough now. You would think that they would have done more in the window, and they're waiting for
mhm,
De Jong, surely. But they are going to have to work with what they pretty much like Arteta in the first season. He's going to have to work with what he had. Um, and incidentally, of course, Bournemouth was the first game 3 years ago that Arteta had a
yeah,
1-1 draw with Bournemouth.
yeah. I'm like looking at their potential starting lineup, and maybe Rashford sticks out, but when you've got Fernandez, Ronaldo, Sancho, and Ericsson, you know, starting in your midfield and up top, you expect better than what we've seen so far. One goal? You kidding me? One goal,
Yeah.
and in Brentford you give up four. I mean, McTominay in the middle, at least on this 4-3-3 they have here, that right there is a red flag, and I don't understand. He's one of those players where how does he keep starting, right? How does Xhaka keep starting? How does McTominay keep starting?
Hmm.
How? Anybody explain to me what he does?
Well,
It's like worthy of a start.
Casemiro is going to be probably replacing McTominay, right? You would,
We'll see.
you would think.
You would think.
They don't bring in Casemiro for all of that money and outlay that they're going to put up to play two defensive midfielders, two destroyers in midfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, so McTominay is going to be sitting on the bench,
So
I think.
is he? Because I know it was yesterday or today he was doing his physical. Is that actually? Does anybody know? Has that actually happened? The physical has been complete, and now it's
Our
just a matter of like
good friends
he's
in the
signed.
chat box could probably tell us that,
Yeah,
but
because I thought he was doing the physical on Friday, but it sounds like it was either Saturday or Sunday when that was going to happen.
it may actually be too early for this game. It would be interesting to see if they slot him right into this game.
I think it's
Probably
supposed to
will,
If
be
but
he's
Saturday.
available, he would have played right for Real Madrid. So you would play him. It's not like it's not like he has to know how the style of play, right? McTominay's playing. So
so Tony, what have you got to say about this? Emery steals 3 points from Diego Simeone.
mm,
It's not always as cut and dry as you make it sound, Tony.
Well, it's early in the season. You don't know what's going to happen. Emery got him to way into the Champions League last season, so he's a good coach. Didn't get back like you said here. Simone does good with what he has compared to Barcelona and Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Didn't even get to 3 Champions League semifinals. Should he should have a Champions League under his belt. But I still just like the way he coaches, like his energy, likes the way he doesn't give the players a break, expects a lot of them. Will yank them out if they're not doing what he wants. I like that.
Well,
Emery's kind of a lot of the same way, but just he doesn't shout and scream like he does, but he'll
well,
pull somebody if they're not doing a good job.
just looking at it now, Villarreal beat them 2-0. Yari Pino, a player we're linked with, on 73 minutes getting the first goal. And then Jared Moreno, 90 plus 7 minutes, the second goal to seal it. Atletico had a player sent off in the 94th minute.
yeah.
But yeah, a
I mean,
good 3 away points. Go
I
ahead,
mean,
Gary.
Atletico isn't known for their scoring, right? So if you can stay with them defensively, then you have a chance. If you've
Yeah.
got
You
more
really think
offensive
Emery's
players,
a sell us a player, right? He just picks up a phone when they ask, inquires, "Good evening," and just hangs up the phone.
We are actively searching for a right winger of some sort. I would think to help Saka out, and I think we need to get a central midfielder for me as well. That's going to
Yeah,
help if we have a Partey injury, because our season is going to very much depend on injuries, and maybe we can overcome some injuries in some areas of the pitch, but there's a couple of crucial parts of the pitch where if we have an injury, it's going to hurt us.
yeah. I mean, right now The most crucial one is, oh, I guess there's two, Partey and Jesus, right? We lose any of them for a number of games. We don't have a good answer behind them right now,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
maybe good for a game or two, but not for much after that. And you guys are going through a lot of the movies. I did see The Wire, and Oz. I actually liked both of those. I watched most
Wire's
of Oz, but I watched all of The Wire. I thought they were all good, entertaining. Boys, I
Series,
like
not movies. Gary, come on.
sorry, series. I did like the first season of The Boys. The second season, I never finished it. So
I got so many things I'm watching that I have to finish. And all these new recommendations. Seems like doing a podcast twice a week takes some time away from
sure,
watching.
sure. I did watch. I did watch
3 hours away.
I did watch Prey last night. I liked that. It was similar to
I thought it was really
the first Predator in the sense
Right.
that you
I
have to work with.
started that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's similar to the first one if you've seen it, the first Predator. So, but I liked it. Yeah, so that's it for all the games, and we talked a bit about our so we are sitting here about 96 minutes, and
Want to do the Don Juan man in the match, Gary?
oh yeah, we probably should. We should. I guess Ray, you can start this thing off. What are you thinking?
It's so many candidates. I'm going to need some help here.
While you think of it, I'll give you who it was last week since I wasn't on. It was Martinelli, which most people would have given it to Jesus.
We picked Jesus. You didn't get to vote last week. Sorry, dude.
Hey, it's my thing. I'm a dictator on this thing.
It's my thing.
It's my fucking segment, Ray.
You weren't here. You didn't get to vote. You didn't get to cast your vote.
I'm saying who it was.
Yeah.
I think Gabriel Jesus.
You can pencil it in, but it's already been printed out. So, Ray, go ahead.
Gary, I mean, last weekend, Gabriel Jesus, 2 goals and I think 2 assists or whatever it was.
Yeah.
You can't not be man in a match last weekend, Gabriel Jesus. I thought he played.
Martinelli's pressing.
I thought he played well yesterday as well. Saliba stepping up with a goal, and Saliba, a commanding performance at central defence. What he does really well is he shepherds danger away from the penalty box. He gets positioned perfectly, doesn't jump in, and he guides players away. I thought Zinchenko was amazing as well at the back, but I suppose I have to pick one, right? And is it too easy to say Odegaard because he did score 2 goals? Maybe he took some advice from some of the coaches and got into the box. And I like the way he took Gabriel Jesus. Maybe you want to leave that to Gabriel Jesus because it is Gabriel Jesus, but he took leadership there from the armband that he's wearing. He is the captain. So listen, easy one here. I'll go for Odegaard, but I know both of you will probably pick someone different because
we see.
Had an outstanding performance from a lot of people.
Yeah. Now, on that note, like you said, we got the clean sheet, and our back line looked really good in containing them, especially Kiefer Moore basically looking, like if that was another day, if that's maybe White playing in the center back, maybe they look a little bit more threatening to us. But like you said, with Saliba and Gabriel, there is that tandem. They got nothing. They got, as you said, Saliba was able to just shepherd, the attack away from goal, and they got nothing, at least in that first half. Later on, we kind of took a dip. But up top, for me, Jesus is always going to, he could always be considered. But like I said, I kind of felt like, we needed to see something from Odegaard and Saka in the game. And they both, Saka did not get on the score sheet or anything like that, but Odegaard did put himself in a good situation, was lively in the box, right? In the past, we probably wouldn't see him that lively in the box where he's able to jump on balls, and 2 balls came to him, and he took them with authority and put them away. So, yeah, Odegaard, I think, did really well. I mean, if he doesn't score those, right, how do we get the score? Do we get all the 3 goals? We don't know, but he did, and we'll take that. So, yeah, so for me as well, Odegaard gets man of the match for me. and we'll let Tony tell us
Oh,
why
two
not. I
from
guess.
Odegaard. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So
He's gonna
Tony,
overrule us.
I like Odegaard. Somebody put something in his ear. I think it seems like because he hasn't started off the season well. Yeah, start off last season well. But there have only been 2 players in the last 7 seasons to complete over 75 passes without any interceptions. Just 100% completion rate. Can you guess who the 2 players are?
Saliba is one of them, right?
Who's the other one?
Ben White.
Nope.
Who?
Vieira.
Nope.
Fabregas.
Last 7 seasons. Come on.
Last 7 seasons. Sorry. Oh, I don't know. Go ahead, Tony. Tell us. Tell the people.
He's the longest serving player on the team.
Xhaka.
No.
Longest
Who does
serving
Stan
player.
really like?
El Neni.
Yeah, El Nini.
Oh,
And
broke-
the Don one of the matches, Saliba with 100% pass accuracy, 100% shot accuracy, 100% long ball accuracy, 83 touches, 75 passes completed, 5 possessions won, 2 clearances, 2 tackles, 2 interceptions, 2 duels, 1 shot, 1 goal.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I know he was considered for man of the match in the first game of the season, right? So he's probably going to be up there when we have our good games. So yeah, and that's why it's almost like Jesus could be up there in every game as well. Eventually, you have to look at something that, at least for me, it looks a little different. And we needed something out of Odegaard, and he gave it to us. So that's why I went there. But yeah, definitely we're going to enjoy what Saliba does for us, right?
Firing out stats, Tony.
Yeah.
Tony with a late run into the box and a finish.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah.
Listen,
Did everybody give their accounts in the chat?
I think we had a couple of comments for Saliba as well. And I think Saliba is the outstanding choice, even though you and I picked the Odegaard, because we asked for goals from Odegaard and he's got it. We asked for end product from Odegaard, we got it. Today we've asked for end product from Saka. Hopefully we get it next game. We got to keep all of this in context, though, Gary. We go away to Crystal Palace, we win. We go home to Leicester City, we win. We go away to Bournemouth, we win. These are games that maybe Liverpool and City could win as well. That's where we have to view these fixtures now. We have to say, let's rub shoulders with Liverpool. Let's rub shoulders with City. In the end, we may end up third place, but we have to compete. And let's make use of the next 10 days, I would say, in the transfer window and go get a couple more players.
Yeah, and you know what? We can't underestimate the games that we have played and won. If we don't win them, you're going to be even more upset because those are games we're supposed to get the points. So when we get the points, we can't then say, well, because we're playing some poor teams, it's not the same. No, it is the same. We needed to get the points. We got all 3 points. And, this is probably where I was going to go next. For the next 5 games, next 5 matches, we should be able to get all of our points of those. We should be able to go into October playing a North London derby, having not lost a match. We can definitely do that. We have the squad for it. We might not have the depth for it, but we definitely have the squad for it. And on our day, we should be able to get points out of every game we play until October when things get a little tough. But even then, we have 3 home games against the biggest teams we have in October. So we could be looking really good at this point, at the end of October still, based on how we're starting. If we can maintain it, if we bring in some more players, if people get healthy, if Vieira is the answer for us, if Mucanos does get more games, those are some answers to questions that we have. So I think we are winning these games and the other teams aren't scoring, right?
Yeah, and listen, I've said this. I think we may have all said it at some point in the last few weeks. We need to be the team that is in first place after 5 games. We needed to have about 13, if not 15 points from the first 5 games. I'm going to say two different things. I'm going to contradict myself. We want you to be happy going to that Northern Derby, Gary. You're going over there with Lolo
Oh,
and
yes.
Mark. We want you to be sitting on, what is it, 24 points? How many games will they have?
Yep, 24 points. That would be really nice going into that match.
22 minimum. But we want 24 points. So you're happy going into that Northern Derby, and you get like the perfect game up there. We beat that Tottenham team. But then the other part of me is saying the team is probably adopting this approach and needs to adopt this approach. Just the next game. Just worry about Fulham next, because the next game will come after that. And I think it has to go game by game. And I don't think we should be talking about a title challenge. Let's see what happens. It's 3 games in. It's absolutely probably crazy talk to start saying we're going to compete with Manchester City or Liverpool. But the facts are we're
We
on
could
9
if we had
points.
the depth.
What?
So we could finish second if we had the depth, but we don't have the depth because I know Arteta's not that focused just on one competition, which he said.
We get a couple of other players in here, and now it looks like Pepe is going to leave for Nice as well. That's a player that always, for me, I know Gary and I think alike with Pepe. Always had end product when he was played, but never fit into our style of play. Am I correct in saying that, Gary?
Yep.
With Pepe?
Yep. Yep.
And look,
The
maybe
one
that's
talent
what
he
he
had
went.
is one we don't have in the squad, but we can't get him on the pitch and we can't get him to use it enough. So what's the point?
And so it's best. I've never been one to do anything that's right for the players. I always think about the club first, and I always hate saying, "Oh, it's best for the player." But in this situation, I've been looking at Pepe in the All or Nothing, and he's really a peripheral figure. Peripheral.
Yeah.
He's not part of it. He doesn't even really look at Arteta eye to eye. They don't.
See that none of that should be a surprise. The man's
No,
he's an introvert.
it's
We
Yeah.
barely see anything from him on the pitch. He scores, we barely see any emotions when he scores. The team wins, we don't see that much emotion, right? I
Yeah.
mean, he's just a really, really quiet player out there, and you just saw he didn't probably. Who knows if he even spoke? And if they have any tape of him speaking,
Yeah.
that's sitting on the cutting room floor there, we don't even know because we never heard anything from him. So yeah, so no, I definitely agree. We should, as a at the team and as a fans, we shouldn't be thinking about winning the league. But we look at these first 8 games, and this is a good thing to look at and say, look, we have a good chance to continue what we've started here and do it 5 more times at least, and then we'll get into October and see how we're playing.
We've been fortunate with the fixtures. Our first 8 games are very manageable, and we should be getting a hell of a lot of points in the first 8 games. The real test. Listen, we want to be almost bored in these first 8 games. We want to be bored into submission. Arsenal picking up 3 points after 3 points after 3 points.
I don't like that
Next week,
thinking. I don't like that
well,
thinking at all. No,
because it's
bored.
going to be so easy.
No, they're not easy. We work hard to get these 3 points.
You don't like my roller coaster
I
analogy, and
don't
now
like
you
that
don't
at
like
all. What you just said
my
there. No, no, no,
bored
no.
into submission.
Boring? You think no? Winning 5 more games in a row is going to look boring. I don't think so. I don't think anybody wins 8 games in a row and it's boring.
Were you excited by that game yesterday?
Yes, the way we started. I mean, I was
There was
like,
a lull.
there was the lull, but we always keep saying
He
we're going
watched
to
the
get
luck
that.
so long, getting known, right?
Yeah, no. For after the first 12 minutes, it's like, oh my god, what's going on here? Can we? And we were able to hold on. The other team wasn't able to get. In the first half, they got no shots. So we weren't threatened in the first half. The second half, they got the same amount of shots as we did, right? We just scored ours. So yeah. So yeah. Now I will. Looks like Sam said he might be actually at the game as well, so that might
Yeah.
be cool. So
Um,
yeah. So really, I won't be there. I won't see any Europa League games. I don't think unless there's a home one
Thursday
on
night.
that Thursday. I'm not even sure, but That might be something.
You fly in? When do you fly in?
I get in. I think I get
Wednesday?
in.
Thursday?
I think I get in Wednesday or Thursday morning. So even if I would be in to be able to watch a game. So yeah.
Probably not because that's the international break before.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'll be over on the
Yeah.
the 28th is when I arrive in the morning, I believe. I think that's a Wednesday. I think, if I recall. So
I might squeeze a Europa game in there, but on it.
yeah, yeah. So no, yeah, no. The game, like I said, we started out strong, which is what we did, and we scored. The other team is going to at some point come back after going down two goals. So you got to expect they're gonna have some say in what happens next. But we need to keep pressing on the gas, and I rather have Jesus and Martinelli and Saka have to come off after 60 minutes because they've been playing like they did in that first 10 minutes, right? We up 3-4-0 by the time they come off. And then you give another players 30 minutes because you want those types of games, right?
That's what I
Or
want to
else,
see.
or else you're going to see what City did today, right? They take a lead, and then the next thing you know, they're down 3-1, right? So you got to keep pressing and keep pushing, put more pressure on the team you got. So,
All those players should be able to do it for 60 minutes.
mm,
Well, looking at our next games, Fulham should be another manageable game for us if we approach it right next
mm,
weekend. Villa might be a more difficult game, even though it's at home. It's a midweek game.
yeah,
We're getting into that three-day window,
mm.
and then Manchester United away. No matter how badly they play, it always is a tricky game for us. But I think we have to. All of these are character games, Tony and Gary. You know.
Yeah, just having the players up for it. They should be up for the games. If Arteta can convince them to be up for it, it's a different story, but they're definitely winnable games.
I saw the interview from Ramsdale saying that Jesus and Zinchenko has definitely raised levels in training, and that's what you expect from those two players in particular, right?
That's the kind of the leadership that Arteta keeps talking about in practice, right? And that's why Xhaka is playing is because he does those types of things and all the
Yeah,
time, right? But we see there's different levels to that, and the levels that
you
Jesus
see,
brings are a lot different than what we have right now in the squad. So yeah, no, I mean every game we're trying to win every game, so we have to get the best out of everybody who plays, and that's why we need to have rotation. Somebody new hopefully is playing in this next game, not because they're not doing well, but because games will get tough and it gets monotonous for the players, right? And eventually they will have to, we have to bring in the other players as well. Tomiyasu's healthy. I expect him to start in one of the next two games, right?
Probably
Tierney's
will.
healthy. If Tierney's healthy, then he should get the start as well in one of the next two games, right? Vieira was actually on the bench, so eventually I expect to see him
yeah,
getting some minutes, potentially starting.
hanging out with
Marquinhos,
Martinelli at the end. Yeah,
All three of
Marquinhos,
those you should see for 45 minutes or
yeah,
so.
yeah, Marquinhos can't play in the U23s anymore. U21s is a waste. Either he's going out on loan or he's part of our rotation. You know, based on what they see.
so this is a carryover from Thursday night show. Stan wanted to put in the redemption of Granit Xhaka. Look, we had more evidence yesterday. I know it was Bournemouth, and Granit Xhaka is probably going to look good against Bournemouth, but came up with another assist. Tony,
Still think there are better players on the team to play that role. Left sided number 8.
Tielemans,
I'm just saying on the team, right? Smith Rowe,
Emile Smith
Zinchenko,
Rowe.
Fabio. All three of those should be able to be better at attacking than Zaka. I mean, we've had to go to that formation because Zaka was getting red cards. So we moved him up there, changed formations. and I think you could slot any player in there. Like you said, Tielemans if we sign him or whatever midfield we go after. I'd rather see us go after more of a central defensive midfielder, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, it's because I guess I kind of to some degree second what Tony's saying. He's playing really well, in the system that we have in place. If this is what you're asking for, we have players that can do much more. If their role is to be up there in the final third, putting balls away, because we've got Emile Rowe who scored 10 goals,
Yep.
right? And that's
Mainly coming off the bench too.
So he can be put in that situation if that's where you're going to play, and we'll get even more scoring out of our attack when we move forward. Zinchenko, we know can probably do a little bit of both there as far as getting the ball up the pitch and playing some defense there. So we have some answers there. So yeah, it's I know you're saying redemption of Xhaka. I just as I've said before, we've catered to him in the sense that we've kind of removed some of the negatives in his game by giving him different responsibilities.
Yep.
Right. And that to say, look, he's playing really well. I think it's better. It's good when you don't have to do certain things. Like if you told Pepe and Pepe's more of a mental thing, because even when we tell him just to attack, he won't. But first it was Pepe wouldn't come back, wouldn't roll back and defend. And that's why he didn't get the play. And now we're saying, Xhaka, well, we don't want you to defend anymore, so we're going to push you forward, and now you look much better. So, you're going to cater to some of your players, and this is what you're going to, they feel more comfortable playing away from the danger areas in their game. And that's what we're seeing. So, I think we can do better. I don't think what Xhaka does, either we don't have it or we can't get better. I don't believe I think some believe he's not replaceable, and the only reason why he's not replaceable is probably more because of the leadership. But I believe Jesus is the leader for us, and what more do Odegaard has the armband, but I think Jesus is leading just as much as Xhaka is in the game, and he's actually performing. So.
Yep. Yeah, listen, that's Granit Xhaka, and I think there's more work to do in the transfer market. We'll see what happens in the next 10 days. Pepe's obviously going to be moving on. We did a podcast a number of weeks ago about how much we expect to recoup from said sales, and I'm sure we're going to be woefully short on that, Tony. We'll do the calculations on that in another podcast, maybe your one on Thursday night. We might actually... Should we hand the controls over to Tony on Thursday night? That's what I want everyone to comment on right now. Is it hell yeah, or hell no?
I thought it was hell yeah or fuck no. Stands based on stands.
Yeah.
Polls.
Yeah.
Anything else to get through, Gary?
No, like you said, our next game is against Fulham. We're playing at home. I'm hoping to see some sort of rotation with players that are coming back healthy and players that might need a little time away. So as we get, prepared for our first midweek game after that. So yeah, no, I think
All right, you're getting unanimous yeses, Gary.
Everybody wants Tony. Everybody, yeah.
Terrible Thursday with Tony.
There you go.
Tony Thursday. Russian Tony at the wheel. Oh my God. The support for Tony.
I don't know about that. That doesn't even sound good.
I mean, we'll start the engine and it'll be like, okay.
Now, I see, Russ. You said you were in New York. Yeah, and up to Boston. Nice places to visit. So cool.
One other thing I just wanted to mention that Stan wanted to mention last Thursday was the retirement of Nacho Monreal, and there was a nice little video of Monreal, a nice retirement video where he actually physically hung his boots up on the dressing room rack. I don't know if you both saw that. Guns and Yellow Ribbons had it on their podcast as well, but he had all of his shirts laid out, and the Arsenal one was second last, and I think he went to Real Sociedad, if I'm not incorrect about that. And then hanging his boots was the last one up. But yeah, really nice. So we wish Nacho Monreal all the best in retirement. Um, Anything to say about Nacho, Tony?
Yeah, he's a okay player. Wasn't the greatest. Not sure if I liked him better as a fullback or a center back. It seemed like for us he did better actually as center back than he was fullback. But played well for us. Was
Thanks.
committed to the club. That's the main thing. With more players showed the commitment like he did. But other than that, not really much to say about him.
Tony running for president 2024.
Oh boy. Oh man. I think
Get
I'm gonna
all of
have to.
our votes.
I think I might have to leave the country. Just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah. No.
Nacho Monreal, Gary.
Yes. Yeah. No. He to some degree is a similar player to El Neni, right? You know what you're gonna get from him most days. You know, not gonna give you too many negative days. I mean, his level is lower than some, but you got a lot out. You got as much out of him as you could. So you enjoyed to see him out doing his on a good days. You enjoyed it. So yeah, no, it's players get older and they have to leave. So his time is done. He realizes it and he's gone. But yeah, thanks for playing for Arsenal. But he did the shirt well. I believe we got the most out of him that we could, and I
Mr.
think we like that. I don't have any specific times when
No, he's just
remember.
Mr.
Yeah.
Consistency.
Yeah.
He scored that goal in the semi-final of the FA Cup against Manchester City in 2017. That got to help get us to the final, and obviously would beat Chelsea for the second time in the final. Mr. Tom said he might watch the Arsenal highlights, see how it went. Spoiler alert: we won, Mr. Tom, and we are top of the league. We are top of the league. 9 points from 3 games. But listen, we're not getting overly excited here, right? We're doing what we needed to do, and that's why the Arsenal Twitterverse and universe has not gone into meltdown because things are as they should be. We're beating the teams that we should, right?
Oh, definitely.
So anything else to add, Tony? We should get out of here. I'll drop the
Just
link.
waiting. Like you said, we're beating the teams we need to, but we need to reinforce the team. It'd be nice to see 2-3 players come in. To me, it'd be a forward and a central defensive mid.
Yeah.
Just
Fill some holes for me. If you're not going to fill the worst holes, at least fill some of them. That might help us out regardless. But yeah, that's what I'm hoping for in this window. And we do have. I mean, if Pepe is gone, then I think we do have a spot there. So let's do it.
All right, let's hit the like, everybody. I'm gonna give Gary. Was that your final thoughts? Because
looking forward to the Fulham game. I hope I get to see it. I will be traveling, but hopefully I get to see it and be able to comment on it when I get back.
Great to see all of you in the chat room. Tony, you will get the final word. Yes, you may look up to me, sir. Tony, you always look up to us, don't you, Tony? That's what she said, Gary. Listen, everyone, thanks for joining. Gary helped me save my voice a little bit. I'm getting a little bit better. Haven't been able to fight with Gary or Tony too much in the last week, but I think by Thursday I'll be back to 100%, Tony, and I'll be able to fight you and Gary.
You better be eating your jalapeno Cheetos.
And you better prepare. It's on you. You're going to be taking the wheel on Thursday night, and you better have some good stuff to talk about. So no pressure, right?
I can always come up with something.
Listen, for me, a great win. Odegaard stepped up. Maybe Saka is doing what we need him to do, but other parts of the team are looking better. So now we're looking to Saka, and I think that's maybe the standards need to raise that way. And I think Bukayo Saka will be okay. Let's get him some cover so he doesn't have to play 3,000 minutes. See,
Still
Tony,
think
the things you say sink into me. You
I
keep
still
saying
think
3,000
Marquinhos is
minutes.
good enough. I think Marquinhos is good enough to back him up from what I've seen.
Marquinhos will get minutes. I don't think he'll get Premier League minutes. And we need Eddie. We need Eddie and Nketiah to step forward as well because I'm worried Gabriel Jesus' physicality will catch him out. And I don't
That's
want,
why I want another striker because I just
do not
he
want that.
invites all those challenges. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess before I go, I just want to say thank you to everybody that joined us. I tried to introduce everybody when that came in. Some of you came in a little late. The Adam and the Marmite pants. I did see Why Not was in there. Don Juan joined us late.
okay,
Late
interesting.
after this the first note, and some of you stuck around for the whole show. I appreciate that. We
Yeah.
definitely appreciate that. And as we said, we'll do this thing again on Thursday. And hopefully we have some new players to talk about, or some old players gone at least, and then maybe we'll see some healthy players be part of the practices, and we can talk about that as well.
I saw Noe backstage, so Noe, grab the link, come on in again, and lights are gonna be going out here right after Tony stops talking, which hopefully isn't too long here. We hit the 2 hour mark. That's good. Thank you, Gary, for taking the onus today. Tony at the wheel. I want fireworks and pod meltdowns. We'll see if we can come up with some. There's always contentious things, Tony takes and all that stuff. But thanks for watching, everybody. Tony, you get the last word as always. Not the best word, but the last word.
And I'll keep it short. I've said this before. Yesterday is the past. Tomorrow is the future. Today is a gift. So just take in what you're doing. Have fun. Appreciate life. Just go out. Be nice to everybody. Enjoy it while you're here. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about the past. Just focus on the day and see what it brings you.
Yeah, very true words. Noe, I've dropped the link in again. See if you can grab it. We'd love to have you backstage, and anyone else who wants to come in and say hello. Sam is waiting in the wings. Thanks for watching, everybody. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but Tony will probably have the wheel on Thursday night. Come and watch that. Hit the like button if you haven't already, and we'll see you on the next one. Arsenal doing what they need to do. Three wins. 9 points, 9 goals, the exact opposite of last season. And it's not preseason, folks. We'll see you next week. Take care, everyone. Come on.